What's going on, everybody? This is MVP, Most Valued Podcast, a podcast embracing the American football culture. I'm Terrence Owens.
And I'm TJ Richardson. Here on MVP, we'll be giving you the real and raw conversations from current and former professional athletes and coaches. This podcast is dedicated to European players and coaches wanting to develop their knowledge of the game and culture. If you're an American football fan, this podcast is for you. Doing it for the gram. Today we want to get into why is it important to have a good social media presence. Nowadays, a lot of teams, colleges are recruiting through social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We just want to give some do's and some don'ts, talk about a couple of things when it comes to social media, just try to give some advice, try to help guide the youth and people coming up on how to properly use social media to help you and not to hurt you.
So first of all, let's just start right here. What do you think where do you think young athletes go wrong when using their social media?
I mean, honestly, I think posting too much stuff about how they may live their life or how they personally feel. Like, yeah, okay, it's social media, it's your platform to say how you feel, what you think. But when you're an athlete trying to represent an organization or institution or a program, like, you got to think differently. It's not the same. You can't just say whatever you want, post whatever you want, even if that's how you feel, even if that's how you live. Like, it's a certain image you got to project in order to be marketable, because that's, at the end of the day, it's a business.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So let's start from high school. Like, from high school guys, athletes posting, content on social media versus players that's already in a college, team, institution. So what's the difference between, high school athletes and college athletes posting, certain content on social media?
I mean, for high school athletes, honestly, you have everything to lose. Yeah. So you don't even have anything yet. You don't have the scholarships. You're not signed nowhere. You're not going nowhere. So anything that you say or you do is going to be taken even that much more seriously.
Yeah, for sure. So
teams can dismiss you based off of that. And a lot of programs, when they're trying to decide between this person and this person, well, if this person social media bad, well, that's anything they can use to mark against you, they will. Yeah. So for high school athletes, like posting, drinking or, anything like doing any crimes or, even being with some suspicious characters, some suspicious people, that will all bring your stock down when it comes to being able to be recruited and make it to different organizations.
I know, and what you just said about like being around certain people, that can cost a high school athlete or even a college athlete a lot, just because, again, I know some players who grew up in the inner city. You have friends who are not necessarily athletes and they are into other activities. We're just going to keep it as other activities, not so positive. But again, they are great friends with this athlete, and sometimes, it could be as simple as taking a picture, with this guy. So now let's say if a college recruiter, I'm going to use you. Let's just say, for an example, you are a high school, athlete, one of the top athletes, in the country, and you are associated with, your childhood friends, which are, good people to you. These people personally. But at the same time, these college recruiters don't know these people. So let's say, for an example, you take a simple photo, just with your high fives, your hands up in the air, high fives. But then the college recruiter can actually click on, his page and to see all the activities as what he's doing. And now he can be like, wow, TJ is associated with, this is when the assumptions and, you just be perceived as, a thug or some type of a negative image, I should say. So I think that hurts a lot of people. And I even know like a couple of players who have been, scholarships have been taken away because of that situation. And this is why you have to watch like who you are posting, what you post, because it's very important if you're talking about, reaching the highest level, even if it's to college or the NFL. That's real big, man.
Yeah, because people associate you with who you associate yourself with.
Exactly.
So they're like, you hang out with these people, you must be the same kind of way.
Exactly.
Even though it may not be a fair judgment, because like you said, people you grew up with, you knew them from a different past, a different background, but society may see them a different way. But that's what people do. They'll group you with those people and say, oh, you must be on the same type time, doing the same kind of things, and we can't have that in our program.
Yeah, and and now I'm going to college though. Obviously college, you have more freedom, I should say. You have, not even as an athlete, but you still do have a lot of opportunity to like, let's just say go places or go to like parties, events, things like this. Obviously in these events in a college setting, you have, drinking, a lot of people drinking, smoking, and you are in this environment, not necessarily you are the one drinking or smoking, but at the same time, let's say you're posting that you're at this party or, just saying anything that can just make you, again, we talk about judgment. This is what coaches, judge you off of the settings that you're in. And it's quite sad really, because again, you can be a great honor student, and you just want to just go have a good time. But since you're in this, let's just say environment that perceives to be like a bad environment or a negative place, like you get judged, and now that can be a suspension or any type of thing can go wrong, and you can be a great person, great student athlete, and it's like, damn, like I didn't even do anything but post the pictures. And this is why we're talking about it today, like the do's and don'ts on social media, because it can cost you. It can cost you to have a career, or it can just cost you, or it can make your career like boost at the end of the day.
I mean, and I think people just get confused with the fact that you don't have to post everything you do on social media. Like, I think a lot of people go wrong posting everything they do on social media. We understand, like, being realistic is college. So some things that happen and things that go on that, may not be the best in the public eye. But it's life. And I'm not saying, like, I myself enjoyed my college career to the fullest, like the outside of football and on the field. So it's some things that aren't always, like I said, super legal or everything like that, but it's fun and you're having a good time. And and I'm not condoning doing anything illegal, but just being realistic, it happens. Like you may be drinking before you're 21. It happens a lot in college. So things like that happen. You may, if you're a popular athlete, you may get a lot of attention from girls. That's life. It's what really happens. But you don't got to post all those things on social media. You don't have to. You got to look at social media as more as a kind of like a resume or a LinkedIn kind of platform, and less like a place to show things that are fun about your life and things like that. Because it doesn't. It's more than that. It's a lot more than that.
And then now I think, and during this time, I think it's a lot of, let's just say 2020, like it's a lot more, kids, high school athletes, college athletes, they do post more, versus when we were in college. Obviously people, still use social media, but now I feel like these athletes now are using it more and more and posting like irrelevant things, unnecessary stuff, just to show. Let's say, for example, you have, I've seen athletes to this day today post a lot of money. Let's just say a college athlete can have a scholarship check, cash the scholarship check and take a picture with all this money, flashing it. That's a bad look.
Look.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like that doesn't resonate with anything. Let's say now you're a top prospect. Like going into the NFL, you got a picture with all these $100 bills, and now that's kind of like suspicious as far as a recruiter trying to put you on their team, their organization. It's like, can we even trust this guy, or what is he into? Like, like this is something serious, and now we should just talk about what you should actually, be posting, on social media, just to better yourself, to put yourself in a great position to be successful. So let's talk about like certain things that we should, especially let's say now for the European American football players, what should they be posting?
I mean, honestly, for high school players in the States or young players here in Europe, like posting your workouts, either on the field or in the weight room is a huge thing. Yeah. Because, coaches need to see that, especially if they can't be around you 24/7. They may not be able to come to your house and visit you, at your school. So you need to be able to show like, hey, I'm a football player. I take this seriously. I'm working out. I'm doing conditioning. I'm doing drills. I'm perfecting my craft, just to project the image that you really care about the sport that you're doing.
I agree. Definitely, because I heard that, some people, let's just use high school kids for now. There's a lot of high school kids, they want to keep it real. It's a lot of guys that want to keep it real, so they want to show off their personality. But it's not like I'm not saying that you cannot show your personality off, but at the same time, people try to be, too cool or try to keep it too real to show, hey, I'm not just only an athlete, but if you're trying to, become, let's go to a Division I college, D2, whatever division. You trying to go to college, you can't show like too much of like who you are. You know what I mean? Like it's certain type of like, you have to be a certain way of discreet just to, put yourself in a position. Like my high school coaches always tell us, don't be that guy at the end of the day. Like even if you are that guy, you don't want to be that guy for somebody outside looking in. Don't be that guy.
Yeah, people never take things the way they're supposed to be taken in the context that you feel they should be taken. Exactly. They catch a glimpse of it, they see a picture, they read part of a caption, and like, okay, I'm making my judgment off of that. And unfair as it may be, those judgments are the things that get posted, you know what I mean, on ESPN or on these newspaper blogs, or, you know what I mean, get to the coaches at the recruiters table, and they're just saying like, hey, I saw them doing this. And it's like, regardless, they're not going to ask you for your background of what really happened a lot of times. They're not going to say what the situation really happened, even though it may not be fair to you, but you just have to understand how it works. It's not about what it is, it's about how it looks. Yeah,
perception is everything at the end of the day. So it's about like whatever you put out there, like you just have to think like, what do you want to be viewed as at the end of the day? Because again, you flashing a lot of money, you will be viewed as a lot of people that, maybe you sell drugs or just any type of negative, judgment at the end of the day. So it's always important to be able to, put yourself in the best situation to be successful, because it's tough though, because again, nowadays a lot of kids, this is what they do. This is their like generation of like society. So this society is social media for these guys. So for them to not actually post anything, it's like,
it's impossible.
It's impossible for these guys. So it's like they have to post something, So again, now going to talking about European athletes again, because it's kind of a different type of vibe, different vibe versus young American athletes and young European American football athletes. Because again, European athletes are trying to go to the States to play college football. So I think like whatever they post, regardless of the platform, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they have to be more so heavy on posting like that football content, workouts, highlights, and definitely. Promoting themselves. Like again, like you said, using that platform as a resume versus in the States, same way you still have to make that resume, but at the same time it's more lenient as like they're doing more and more just because that is already the culture, because they're in America already. But and I think that the kids in America get more in trouble because they're I don't even know how to say it. They just get used to that environment, that culture, because
it's a cultural difference.
It's a cultural difference at the end of the day, because again, you have those big high schools, the fans are just like college fans. Like you playing in front of these huge fans, and then now you're feeling yourself after a game. You want to go out. You're young and stupid. Young and dumb, and you posting something. Or again, this has happened as well. Let's say you aren't even a guy who posts something on a social media platform, but someone else sees you, drinking at a early age, and they post you at your name, and now that you can lose
everything with that.
You can lose everything as well. So now it's a matter of we're like being in the right places, the right places at the right time, and it's scary. It's kind of like a lose-lose for these guys.
It definitely can be. It definitely can be. And for the European athletes, like I understand the plight of some European athletes. Me personally, I work out a lot. I do a lot of training. I do a lot of workouts. Rarely do I really post something on social media about what I'm doing workout-wise and training-wise. But for these young European guys, like you got to do that. Even if it's not what you like to do, you got to do that. It's not even for... It's not for the likes. It's just for people to see that you're working, to see what kind of skills that you have. Like,
exactly.
Are you working on your footwork? Do you have quick feet? Do you have good hand placement, good motion? How is your throwing motion? Like, what are you doing to get better? How strong are you? Like, because a lot of times people can post a lot of numbers, a lot of things, anywhere, and it may seem like, oh, okay, are these stats legitimate or
accurate or not?
Are they not? But when somebody can see you like, oh, I'm about to go run this 40, somebody standing there timing it, okay, well, the people be like, okay, well, I seen it with my eyes now.
Exactly.
Or you do your drills, run your combine drills, or his hips loose. Yeah, his coach said that, but you can bypass that, because a lot of times too, some programs every program isn't built equally.
Yeah,
So you have some schools where coaches really go hard for their players. They'll say like, hey, talking to these coaches, making sure that the right people get seen. You know what I mean? Like with your school, like they made sure that people, you know what I mean, were in the right place to make sure that you succeed. They show, like, talk to coaches and make sure that your best attributes get there. Not every program in the States or especially in Europe do that. So to bypass that effect, because nowadays it's not an excuse.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now you can do it yourself. So show, hey, I can run this, or I can catch this, or I can do that. You can go show all those abilities. You don't have to say, oh, this is what I did, and somebody has to believe it. You can go prove that every day. Right.
And now I know you've heard this saying. I'm sure you've heard this saying. They say it didn't happen if it's not on the ground.
For sure.
You know, so
For sure.
So you know, athletes out here in Europe, you know, just take that into consideration. You know, if you're working out, you know, every day, you know, nonstop, and you know you're not posting those workouts, because again, I'm not a huge poster as well. So like I do understand it's not even like I just don't post as much. Like I can work out and nobody can know, and nobody knows. And then again, I heard this from coaches, you know, work out when nobody's looking. You know, like do what you would do when nobody's looking. That's more important than actually, you know, posting something on social media. But again, this time and day, this society, especially European athletes trying to get to college, you know, go to the States, it's a necessity now.
Definitely.
So again, it didn't happen, you know, if it's not on the ground. Because again, you can say I did this, I bench pressed, you know, 225, you know, 15 times, but if we can't see it, it's hard to believe it.
Hard to believe
nowadays. So this.
And the more impressive it is, the harder it is to believe. Like
exactly,
it gets difficult. I can say one thing that is a definite no that a lot of people have a problem with, and I just want to touch on this, is avoid confrontations over social media.
Yes, definitely.
Like it's that for sure. We talked about some lose-lose. That is a 100% lose-lose.
Yeah,
like,
you will never win that battle.
Never, because I mean you're battling with people that you don't know half the time, that you can't physically talk to, that honestly probably want to have a conversation but don't really want to change their views. They're just talking to be talking. So the more, and people can bait you into saying a lot of things and exposing some things that can be taken out of context, and it makes you look bad. You know what I mean? Nobody talks about the person that, you know what I mean, that got you to, that riled you up, that made you feel some kind of way. But they're saying, no, I'm looking at this person, the athlete. Like, what did you say? How did you respond? How did you act? Avoid confrontations, because as much as it may sound good or you may feel some kind of way, like, people say a lot of things online that they wouldn't say to you in real life. So don't waste your energy, you know what I mean, going back and forth, because it's only hurting you and it's benefiting them. They getting some likes, they getting some views, people seeing them, and for you it's all negative.
Hey, I agree with you 1,000%, because again, like you said, a lot of these athletes take the bait. Let's say you can have a terrible game. Let's just use you can have a terrible game. You know, it's probably just one of your worst games you ever played. And now, you know, you have a fan, you know, of you. You know, you even let's say this fan loves your game so much, and he would just really upset that you had a terrible game. So he just goes on the social media, on the Twitter, and say, hey, this guy, he sucked today, man. Why is he even playing? He doesn't even deserve to be the starter. And then that's just like bait. That's like, you know, a worm on the hook, and they're going fishing, and they're just waiting for you to just attack that worm. And now you comment and say, like, just anything. Again, it's a lose. You can say it in the nicest way. You can respond.
It doesn't matter.
Politically correct, but at the same time, it's not necessary for you to be in that situation, to even, like you said, that confrontation, because again, it's never going to go the way you would like it to go.
Never.
Even if you press sin and you feel good about it, like, I told him, but at the end of the day, it doesn't look good as far as, you know, outside looking in, meaning like the coaches, you know, recruiters, coaches looking in on it, because again, they want to see how you respond, and just like you said, they want to see how you handle these situations, handle that adversity, I should say. So
exactly.
It's tough, man.
Yeah, so just, I hope, take some words of advice, really focus on what you put on social media, because it does affect you directly about your life, and worry about who you associate yourself with, what you put on social media, what you say, what you repost, what you tweet, what you write, what you comment. You know what I mean? All those things play a factor for positive and negative. Social media can benefit you just as much as it can hurt you. So really take time, think about it. Before you send out something, read it, reread it again, think about it again before you send anything out. And just really use the platform of social media to benefit you and to bring up your stock and make you present you in a bigger and better light. That's the goal. That's the key, to focus on that.
Yeah, and you know what else? Some athletes will say, like, for an example, if they stand for something, let's say if it's something that they truly believe in, right? And it can be confrontational, but let's say they truly believe in it and they want to post it anyway because this is what they believe, so they think this is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I still will recommend, just because you believe in something or stand for something that's important or that's really, like, again, that's right to you.
Yeah.
It's still confrontational, just because, again, you don't know how all these coaches will perceive you. Like, again, perception is everything at the end of the day. So just because you feel a certain way and you believe in a certain thing doesn't mean that coach believes in the same way, or they're not going to view you how you see it, see your outcome. So just watch what you're posting. Just watch what you're posting, take it in consideration, just like TJ said, as far as use the platform as a resume. Like, use this as your football resume. And again, we're talking about you athletes who are literally trying to pursue a football career, because again, it's a different story when you're not trying to pursue a career or a path. And again, this goes for a job. Let's not even talk about football. Even if you're you want to have a great corporate job in the future, you still can't post these certain things. You can't be confrontational, because again, nowadays when you go into that interview, these people do a background check. They're not only, now they're using social media for your background check.
Your Facebook is definitely on your background check,
exactly.
100 every time.
Yeah, so again, just be careful, what you post.
Our special guest for today is Viangelo Bentley. He is a former Fighting alumni, standout cornerback and kick returner. He spent some time with the New England Patriots at corner, and now he's the assistant defensive backs coach at Penn State.
Yeah, so basically, I want to just start off with this. What I want to know, because again, everybody call you Dog. That's your name. Where did you get? Where did Dog come from? Because I was introduced, to you as Dog. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Bentley. Like, I know your name, but I know Dog. So where that name come from?
That name came from my little league coach. So he played with my dad, and that was actually my dad's nickname when they played together.
Okay.
So it's kind of a spin off of him, and me playing, I reminded him of my dad. I played for the East Cleveland Chiefs in Cleveland, Ohio, East Cleveland, Ohio. So I mean, it was just kind of more of a family name, I would say, that got passed down to me through my father. And so that's what people call him, and that's kind of just stuck with me.
Okay, I got you. Because then your little brother, he was at the time I was working at Get Academy, they was call him Lil Dog. So I guess that is a family name.
He was a spin off of me.
Okay. What age did you start playing football for the Chiefs? That was your first time playing?
Yeah, that was my. Well, no. What's so crazy is I had went and tried out for the. I forget it was the Bulldogs.
Okay.
I had went and tried out, and we did the one drill where you lay on your back, nutcracker,
nutcracker.
Lay on your back. And this one dude laid me out, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm cool, man." I would think I was like 6.
Oh, okay.
I was like, "It's a wrap." And then the next year, my dad was like, "Yeah, one of my good friends, he coaching up at East Cleveland. You got to go play." And he kind of just ushered me in that way, and it was probably a more comfortable situation up there, just knowing that I was with somebody that was close to my dad or whatever, so I probably felt more comfortable.
Yeah.
And from there, so about 7, got my first taste at 6 when he crushed me, but then at 7, I was going to win from there.
Yeah, I got you. I started out, playing for the Glenville A's at the time. It wasn't the Titans. I was playing for the A's.
Mm-hmm.
I started out at 7 years old. I was playing receiver. I started out as a receiver in DN.
Everybody played DN.
Yeah, I played DN.
When you was little, man, you didn't play football. Put the fast dude at DN.
Right, exactly. So at that time, we transitioned to the Titans. At first, we was the Glenville Rec. We had some altercations with the Glenville A's. They whooped our ass in camp. So, Dre was there. Dre was there at the time. He'd tell you that whole little situation. But we ended up changing to the Rec. We changed to the Rec, and then I remember I'm on Pee Wee at the time. Shit, speaking, I'm only telling you the story because you was talking about nut cracking. shit, I got in there at Nutcracker because, again, I'm playing defense at the time. I ended up trying to make the tackle with my head down. So you already know my spine, like, so basically, we go helmet to helmet, but my head goes down, like, like, let's say, like, it's going towards my feet. So I was knocked the wind out of me. I was through. Last time I ever nut cracked again, I ain't even play defense no more, bro. Like, it was over with for me.
Yeah, it's over with for that. I ain't doing that no more.
It was over, bro. Like, so I was.
That's funny.
That was my defense and last tackle. Only time I ever made another tackle was if I threw a pick. I'm trying to crush somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, yeah, that was my deal with that nut cracking. It was over for me. I feel like everybody got their issue, nut cracking for real.
Yeah, everybody done got once in that.
Right. Exactly. So what motivated you to even, play football? Like what made you? Was it, influenced by your father, type of deal?
I think it was just the fun of the sport. I definitely had great influence by my dad to play.
Okay.
But he never like forced me to play or nothing like that. I think as I got into it and I started just being able to be around my friends and just play and just have fun with it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it helped that I was actually good at it as a young age too.
Exactly.
That always can kind of increase your want to and your will to actually play a sport. So,
okay. But let's talk about your journey, in college. Let's start off with college. Like, tell me your experiences, like how you felt as a freshman, to like, your senior year. Like, just give me like a brief, experience for you.
So I got to Illinois. I had an Illinois offer from Coach Zook, he was there, like I think he left in 2011.
Okay.
His last season was 2011. So I had an offer from there, but the coaches from Toledo, actually Coach Beckman.
Okay, yeah.
He ended up coming to Illinois.
Yeah,
and
he was my coach.
Their corners coach loved me. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Their corners coach loved me, so my offer basically transferred because I had the Toledo offer to transfer from there I got offered again at Illinois.
Okay.
And so that was 2012, my freshman year. I mean, I went in there with the mentality to play. It wasn't no red shirt. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Right.
It was get on the field and contribute.
Okay.
And so, I went in, kept quiet, and just put my head down and started working.
Right.
I think the toughest part for me was when, coming from Glenville, we didn't lose hardly at all.
Right, exactly.
So I always tell a story. We won like 2 games straight, my first 2 college games. That's kind of your out of conference game. Your other scheduled games.
Right.
So we went to go 2-0, then we take an L, and I was sick. Like I didn't even know how to take that L.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And then it came back, won game 4, and then we lost again. And then I could just remember crying, like, dang, like, man.
That's not what it is. Yeah, exactly.
This ain't it. Like, what's going on? So I think from that point on, and I mean, I was young, so I wasn't really playing that much. But me being a competitor, I wanted to actually play more, and I thought I could do more or help more. But, my time played out how I played that season. I think going into my sophomore year, I kind of just wanted to be the dude that kept us out of that losing situation.
Right, exactly.
Like if it was a play that could be made in the game, I wanted to be the one to make it.
Right, you wanted to be that impact player.
Yeah, so and that I think that took my drive, my focus, my discipline, my why above. I mean, some of the other guys that was on my team, and I think we got better. That next year, then the next year we got better, and it was never a 12-0 season or even an 8-4.
Right.
But I think for myself and the impact that I was able to have on my teammates and them knowing that I was going to give them my all, and even I tried to engage with the fans because I mean I kind of made those splash plays where I was the guy that they watched.
Exactly.
So even trying to connect that way from my social media platforms and all that. I mean, I just tried to embody the whole. I went to Illinois, the whole Illini culture,
Exactly.
and display it in any way I can, and just give my all at the time.
Okay.
And I mean, I ended up having a successful career. I mean, I know in high school we always learned to put your name on something.
Exactly.
So it's records there that got my name on it, and I hope I left them a good blueprint to follow.
Exactly.
But
talk to me about your senior year and going into pro day training, transition into pursuing your NFL career. Talk to me about that.
Mm-hmm. So I went after college. I went down to Florida to start training. I think I went to fifth speed, and it was cool, but it wasn't. I almost felt like it was too much.
Okay.
Like I didn't grow up doing none of this.
And what mattered? And in what sense?
As far as I just felt the attention to develop me and not develop a group.
Okay.
Was better at home. So
okay.
I ended up coming back home and working with Tim Robertson, who I've been training with for forever.
Mm-hmm.
And that was more of a, it put me in a caveman mentality. It put me into it was a point my hair was wild, beard was growing. It was more of a come in, get your work, eat right, eat good, eat healthy.
That's all. That's all that mattered at the time.
That's all that. Nothing else mattered. Like
right.
it was trying to do everything right to fulfill that dream of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think me personally, I mean, some guys can go to those facilities and train, and especially if you were like a top round dude, like you're gonna get that extra little emphasis. You're gonna get those extra treatment sessions and meals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
It's different. So I mean, I wanted to go where I felt comfortable and where I would get the most work in.
Okay.
I mean, you don't really need that much space or nothing to get the work in. You
exactly.
can sit in your bedroom and do what you do and come out top.
Exactly.
So I think during that, I mean, kind of just went cave mode on them.
Okay.
Didn't even. I wasn't worried about how I looked. I wasn't worried about. It's kind of like now. You should see my hair right now. I look crazy with the quarantine.
Yeah, I was about to say it. But that's it's quarantine, so it's a whole different deal right now, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, I was just in mode. Like I was just trying to be the best or come out the best in the best shape. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think during the time I was at home, so I was staying on my pop's crib. That made our relationship better because I mean, we in the kitchen whipping up meals. I'm helping him get right on the eating side.
Right. Yeah.
So that was also a happy part of me too. So
right.
all around, I was comfortable. I was happy going to work every day, eating good, stretching, getting some field work in when I could. I mean, the weather was different because during that time it's cold in Cleveland.
Exactly.
But I mean, I didn't even care because I felt like if I couldn't backpedal. And I couldn't backpedal, and it was like riding a bike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't even worried about that part as far as on my pro day or nothing like that because I didn't go to the combine.
Yeah.
I wasn't tripping on that. Like, I've been backpedaling for 12 years.
Right.
Like, opening the hips, flipping. And, I mean, I think the workouts that we was doing had some of that in it. But it wasn't DB specific. But, I mean, my whole thing was you just got to run, jump, and do all the other stuff that they try to measure you on.
Yeah, you're gonna perform on the field workout stuff.
Yeah, I ain't tripping on that. I had one team call me. One team wanted to work out. That was the Patriots, and that was the team that ended up taking a chance on me. So
tell me about that experience. Like, how was that for you?
Oh man, that was it was good, man. I mean, I was there right after the draft till after preseason that season. I ended up getting released. But just in that span, I learned so much about organization, about team, about program, about discipline, about accountability.
Yeah.
And I'll take that within my cultural career for forever.
Exactly. Same here, bro.
It's a special place where as soon as you walk through the door, you say this is why they win.
Exactly.
It's almost written on the wall. Like you feel that energy. You feel that demand to be at your best at all times. And that kind of, it just resonates throughout the team, because if everybody's trying to be their best and everybody knows that the next man to the right or left of them is accountable to them, then it just breeds a better culture.
Mm-hmm.
It breeds a better program and organization. And man, that was a great situation for me, man. And just running out on the preseason, like I played in the preseason games, and my family coming up there just to see that. I got the video of me running out on the field, and I know that makes them happy.
It's a great feeling right there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, like I already know. I can only imagine, because after my pro day, I was fortunate enough to go to the rookie mini camp with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the opportunity, the luxury of doing that. But at the same time, I ain't go further than that. But just like you said, like still throughout that time, like I learned so much just by being in two different programs, just seeing two different sides of it. And I was, it's only rookie mini camp. Rookie mini camp is 3-day camp, basically. So for me to learn as a quarterback, you in the film room, you doing more than everybody else, I should say, though. And so I just learned so much, man. And I feel like that, I instilled everything that I learned with me, being over here. For me being a player, I've coached over here as well. And now I'm training like a couple of quarterbacks out here. So just for me to be able to share that information with these guys, I feel like that, helped me just as a person, not even as a player, just as a person. It's all about life goals. You know how Ginn used to tell us, it's about life at the end of the day. Use football as a tool, to navigate your life. Yeah, exactly.
Get you where you want to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to me about like, so after you was released, like what was your situation then? Because I know that you went to a CFL, you went to a CFL camp. So talk to me about that.
So right after I got released, I ended up going back to Illinois, because I was just 1 year out, and I was gonna get free food, and I was gonna have a place to stay still. So I was like, cool, I'm just going. And I had a facility to work out at.
Okay.
So I was probably there for maybe like a week or two, and then CFL called me. That was Hamilton Tiger Cats. So I went up there.
Say Hamilton, right?
Hamilton Tiger Cats. So their season starts way before NFL season. So when I got up there, they probably had 6 games left.
Mm-hmm.
So they was tailing towards the end of their season, and I'm coming up there to play.
Right, exactly.
So I go out and I'm practicing, but they didn't activate me because that would count as a credited year up there.
Yeah.
And I had a 2-year deal. So, I didn't even play. I kind of finished the season out there on a practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
Still was able to practice and still learned a lot, or was able to just, I think up there as a DB, you hone in on those hips and those skills and the eyes and all that, because the field is so big.
It's wider, yeah, for sure.
They running at you as they release. You're like,
it's a different game, really. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I went back there in the spring that following season, got like a spring camp or whatever, and I had ended up straining my groin. And then we go back. I went back for the spring, strained my groin. Go back for camp. No, I strained my groin in camp.
Okay.
And then, so that they only got 2 preseason games. I was able to play in one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just your opportunity window is so small, because you first of all, you ain't getting all the play time, just because there's so many other guys that got to play to get evaluated. And then I didn't even play in one whole game, so I ended up getting released from there. And then it was more so. I still was working out. I was at the crib working out. I'm still in the back of my mind, I'm waiting on that NFL call.
Exactly.
But I've heard it's more than the game so much that I wasn't about to be 32 talking about man, they about to call me next
Yeah,
week.
you still waiting at 32. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I ain't doing that. Like,
right.
I'm much more than just a football player. Let me try to tap into one of these avenues. And then, I mean, gratefully for me, I was actually just visiting again academy, taking my little brother to school, and Urban Meyer was in there.
Yeah.
And while I was at Illinois, we played O State every year, and I'm the only player to return a punt on O State and Coach Meyer.
Okay.
Well, on Coach Meyer, he coaches a punt team, he remembered me from then.
He was definitely on his radar for sure.
Well, he remembered me from then, and he gave me the direct contact, and just told me to keep in touch. And I mean, I had never thought about coaching or getting into the field. It kind of just. He gave me the number, and I went down for a game. He sat me down. He was like, okay, you got recruiting, you got coaching, you got player development, you got nutrition. Like, here, and he set me with all their directors of each group.
Okay.
He will explain to you what he do. He'll explain what he does, yada, yada. And he kind of just was like, just think about it, sit on that, and just let me know.
Right.
So that was a whole season went past.
Yeah.
But during that time, I would always, we know a million guys that go down to O State and play down there.
Exactly.
Marshawn, Eric, CB was down there. So it was, they always used to say, like, man, Coach Meyer just asked me about you today or, yesterday. And, he just asked him, was I a good dude? Like, just trying to figure me out. Because in my mind, he's now thinking about bringing me into their program.
Exactly. That's what's up.
I mean, he got I'm guessing he got good reports, and that worked in my favor. And I ended up, it was an opportunity you couldn't pass up. You got one of the winningest coaches in college football, and on a dominant stage.
Yeah,
giving me the opportunity to be involved with their program. If that's something I want to do, you a fool not to take the opportunity,
exactly.
Especially when you at home, not even doing nothing.
Right, exactly. So would you say? That. Would you say Urban was, he motivated you, to transition into, coaching? Or was it on your mind before, or you was like, iffy, like, you had your foot half in, half out, trying to figure out that transition, after football?
I mean, I've had so many good coaches, even from Little League.
Yeah.
And they was always that figure that you could be like, or you want to be like. I mean, when you're young, your coach, he kind of handling everything. He picking everybody up in the car for the game.
Yeah.
Like, so it started there, and then Coach Ginn, like, almost, I wouldn't say put a bow on it yet, but he put a bow around it for me to know that I was more than an athlete. And then when an opportunity presented itself from Urban, that was like, all right, now, like, come on.
That's the icing on the cake. It's like, all right, it's meant for me.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Like, we ain't doing nothing else. And it's just, at the time, I was still working out, and dudes used to always tell me in college, like, man, you gonna be a coach. Like, I used to do the footwork drills. I was the one always on the field getting the extra work, like all that type of stuff. They're like, man, you might as well just train some dudes or something like that.
Right.
And I was like, man, I ain't about to be no trainer. I don't want to do that. But I think there's a difference between a trainer and then an actual coach.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it kind of had something to do with it. I wouldn't say put 100% of it on them, but just throughout my career or my life, different phases have all added and made me want to do it.
Okay. Yeah, so let's talk about that. So now you at O State. So you was GAing at O State. So what was that experience like for you?
I was at Ohio State the 2017 and 18 season.
Okay.
So now I'm at Penn State.
Yeah.
So when I was at O State, I wasn't a GA or nothing. Funny story. When I'm talking to Coach Meyer, like, yeah, I think I want to do this. He was like, good. That's what I wanted to hear. And I'm like, well, what you want me to do? I'm like, what? Do I got some responsibility?
Like, what's your role?
He was like, yeah. He was like, no, I just want you to come and learn.
Okay,
and
yeah.
I'm like, what?
Shit, he was throwing the oop for you. He was throwing the oop for you for real.
Oop off the glass.
Right, for
like,
real.
Oh. I'm like, I mean, like, I gotta live or whatever. I'm not 16. I don't really know nobody in Columbus anyway.
Right.
Or, enough to be like staying with him and stuff like that. He was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'll work on it. I'm gonna talk to our people, see if we can get you, a couple dollars. I'll let you know in the morning.
Right.
Dude called me 9 o'clock the next day. Like, yeah, we just got our staff meeting. This is what we got on the table, yada yada. We excited for you to come down. I said, when you want me there? And he was like, whenever you comfortable to come down, basically.
Right, exactly.
I was there like the next day.
I would have been the same way.
Yeah, so while I was there, I mean, I wasn't a GA. I was more of a defensive assistant.
Okay.
And like I said, he didn't give me a role, so it was naturally just trying to figure out the lay of the land, figure out their turns. I mean, I wanted to go in, not stepping on nobody's toes.
Exactly.
And the thing about him, he would tell me like, go, like do it, go shoot, like, because that's a part of learning how to be a coach and getting into that field.
So you in that
Don't
fire.
worry about, yeah. And gradually I ended up, speaking more and, just knowing when to speak. And I mean, I ran to the corner room because that's what I played.
Yeah.
And I was there with Coach Combs, who's now there. He came back as a defensive coordinator this season.
Okay.
I was in his room, learned a tremendous amount up under him, just about coaching guys and motivating them and just what are you telling them and how they perceive things. And then, that next season, my responsibilities just grew.
Yeah.
Because now people are seeing me, in that coaching world, it's irregular hours, a tremendous amount of hard work, and just consistency and dependability and being accountable. That, as you grow in it, you just get more roles and more roles. That second season, like my first year, I didn't even travel to the game. So the games I could go to, I drove.
Right.
And that's just, I'm like, well, I sit in the room with them for 40, 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
I feel I feel entitled to be there at the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Not with the team, but just to show my support in any type of way I could.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I know I'm sitting in the room with the players. They know I'm not on a trip, but they know I drove 3 hours to Indiana and I could see them after the game.
Right.
So, it just showed
commitment.
For me, it showed that investment and that commitment. So, I mean, that kind of happened my whole first year. Then that second season I was there. Now I'm on a trip. I get to get on the flight. I'm in the box now, and my role just expanded.
Okay.
And from that, the trust expanded. To have a better role, they got to trust you to even do that job.
Yeah.
So, that happened. And then, after that season, I had a couple opportunities because now, I needed to become a graduate assistant where I can actually be on the field coaching because, you got your limits where you can only do certain things.
Exactly, yeah.
So it was time for me to actually get on the field. I felt like that was a piece missing.
Okay.
And, I had an opportunity at Cal out in Berkeley, California. So I went out there for an interview. I had an opportunity. Well, actually, while I was at Cal, Illinois called me, which is my alma mater.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, when I'm in Cal, I mean, I don't know what y'all want me to do. They was like, don't worry. When you get back from there, we'll fly you here. I'm like, all right, bet. So I go to Illinois, come back. I have a conversation with Coach Ryan Day, who's now the new head coach at the time. Urban had just stepped down.
Okay.
And then had a conversation with him. And he was getting his staff in place.
All right.
So he didn't know what exactly their thoughts would be on who they wanted to bring in, yada yada, which practically so they had to they get that opportunity to say who they want.
Yeah.
And so then my defensive coordinator at Illinois, he's now the co-defensive coordinator and safeties coach at Penn State.
Okay.
He gives me a call. He says, hey, we got this opening. I know you've been in the coaching world. I mean, I've talked to him throughout the whole time.
Okay, yeah.
Because I played for him in the midst of the league. he's a constant guy. I've always kept
Yeah, always stayed
communication
in touch with him for sure.
Yeah, and then that situation opened up there, and at the time it was just the right fit for me. So I ended up going to Penn State and becoming an assistant secondary graduate assistant there, and I'm going into my second season there now, and it's been a great ride. It's you find joy in it every day, just because it's a selfless job, because you're doing so much stuff that's not even for you.
Exactly.
It's this how I do so much stuff, and it don't bother me, because you always grow up, and when you're growing up, you hear them say you want to do something that you love doing, whatever doesn't feel like work.
Exactly. Yeah. If it don't feel like
exactly. Doing this doesn't feel like work. It just feels like you're trying to accomplish a goal, and that's championships and developing great young men to be what they want to be.
Exactly.
And that's kind of where I'm at with it.
That's what's up, man. That's that's an interesting story, because I literally thought you was at O State, GAing, but again, like you said, like Urban Meyer throwing you that alley-oop like that, that's love though, for real. Just to be, just as like get in where you fit in, get your feet wet at a dominant program like that. That's crazy,
right?
Man. That don't happen every day. You know what I mean?
At all. And it was tough though. Like, man, it was hard, because I'm now. I was just in the league a little bit, dipping back and forth, so I had some free time, and I had a couple dollars.
Yeah.
But I had the ability to fly here, hit this party, hit that.
Yeah.
I could go kick it with my friends in Miami. Then I could fly to LA.
Right.
I could go to Vegas. I could hit all. You know what I'm saying? I was on that schedule.
Yeah, exactly.
When I got into that coaching world, done.
Changed completely. Yeah, that's over with.
It was like, no, we got meetings tomorrow morning. We had a game. We in the game. Well, we played who did we play? We played TCU in Dallas.
Okay.
On a Saturday night, one of those early classic type games.
Yeah.
Now we got meetings the next morning at 8.
Yeah.
We ain't get back to Columbus till 4.
Yeah, so I can only imagine. You probably slept at the facility.
Man,
motherfuckers used to do that.
So it was totally different. It was a totally shock. But, it also gave me a purpose, and it was like, how sometimes you'll be talking to somebody, and then you'll be like, hey, what's up? You trying to link, yada, yada? And they be like, busy.
Yeah.
But you kind of be like, hey, you ain't really doing nothing.
You ain't doing that much to be. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I feel like, I really be doing stuff. Because remember, it's not only me. Now, just speaking in the position I'm in now, I'm responsible to 20 DBs.
Mm-hmm.
Then the two coaches, who Coach Banks and Coach Terry Smith, who's a corners coach.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm responsible to the defensive staff to have my part of the breakdown done.
Okay.
Had this done, had this study done. Then it's even to Coach Franklin, who gave me the opportunity. Then it's to the Penn State fans, because, and I've been watching this Jordan thing. Little kids coming to the game, they got to see a show.
Exactly.
So
sure.
It's about it's so many roles it has. Then it's recruiting. So now I'm talking to all the different kids every day. I'm really be busy. I literally was in my car with somebody a couple weeks ago, and we was on a long drive, over an hour, but the phone just kept ringing.
Yeah, nonstop.
And it go from position coach to defensive coordinator to recruiting coordinator to student intern to recruit, back to the position coach to and it's just they looked at me like, damn.
Right. Yeah.
I'll be like, yeah, it's but I signed up for it, and I love it, because it keeps me disciplined. It keeps me sometimes you don't need to you don't need to be at the function.
Exactly. You already know what it's like. You know what it is already. Yeah. So that's when when it gets to that, when you already thinking like that, you've been there already, like in these type of functions. Like you don't, it's nothing new. Ain't nothing else gonna change, but same
Yeah,
shit.
it's all the same, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fun, and trust me, when we get we usually get a month in like end of June to July, like middle of July.
Yeah,
we get about like 28 to 30 days or 25 to 30 days. I still I'm on the road. Like I try to hit all my little hot spots that I'm used to hitting.
Yeah.
That I can't really hit during the season. So I mean, I still get my fun out of it, and it kind of it's you gotta create your fun in it.
Right, exactly.
Because I mean, you're so busy doing things. So like usually, when we on the road, whatever city we in, I'll find out what's their best restaurant.
Right.
And I'll go eat by myself, like just to chill, just to get away for a minute, have me a nice little meal. Or if I know somebody in the city, let's go grab some food. Let's chill out. Just you want to escape it at some point a little bit, and then come back and get the job handled the next day. So
for sure, you talked about a little bit of of recruiting a little bit. Talk to me about that, like how how you involved like with the recruiting at Penn State.
So my job is basically all the DBs in the secondary. I look at them, I watch them. Like me and our corners coach just watched 50 dudes the last 2 days.
Okay. Is it a Pacific area? Because you know how like some recruiters, like y'all go ahead.
My area is I got Dallas, I got Ohio, and then national DBs.
Okay. That's on the radar, like basically on the radar type. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So I mean, it's an ongoing process, and I think one thing that's been important at both the places I've been, me and here in Ohio State, is the relationship, and you're trying to get to know somebody, and you can't see them all the time, so you're trying to get to know them through the phone, through FaceTime, through whatever type of avenue you have to communicate, and it's just about seeing if they're the right fit for the organization.
Okay.
I know at Penn State we're big on just knowing the whole player, knowing the whole family.
Yeah.
The mom, the dad, the trainer, the coach, the grandma, the grandfather, whoever is significant in that player's life, because we know we need to all be on the same accord when things are going right at Penn State or when it's not going right.
Yeah, so, definitely. What about like how important is it? Let's say, for an example, let's just say like the top guys. Let's say top 10 DBs, and you recruiting these guys, or any it don't even matter they top or not. How important is they social media, like what they uploading on social media, posting on social media, plays a part into that recruiting process?
I think it's huge because you got to think the coaches. As coaches, we follow these guys. Just to see, and that's another avenue to see who they are.
Yeah,
I know. So we got one recruit. Every time I look at his page, he working out.
Okay,
that just tell me, he got a goal in mind. He trying to accomplish it.
Yeah,
and I can tell in the conversation that I'm talking to him. I mean, I think kind of the questions that you sent me before, before we even got on. You said, how can social media help or hurt you?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times what people don't do is, like when I post on social media, I try to wear a lot of different hats.
Okay.
Because, and when I say different hats, I mean, I'm trying to look at, if I post this, how would someone's mom, how would someone's dad, how would someone's brother, sister, coach, teammate, how would they see this?
Exactly.
And it's hard because sometimes some posts cater to one community, but not the other. It may not be the right thing to post, exactly. And that's just how I look at it.
Okay.
So I think for me, just wear those different hats. Like if you on social media talk about fuck them hoes, all that, whatever. How would your future college coach see that?
Right. Exactly.
How would your mom see that?
Yeah.
Like. So social media is a tool for better or for worse.
Yeah.
And I think the best social medias are ones that are influential to others. That's what it's for.
Okay.
To influence people.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, I think I didn't usually. I mean, I think during this quarantine, I've kind of just changed in my approach to it. And
Okay.
I thought my approach always has been, wearing those different hats. Like when I was saying at Illinois, like I was trying to get the fans involved. Like we wasn't selling out the stadium, but
Yeah.
I thought that whatever I post, people could like it. They might want to show up this weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
So I kind of wore that hat, and I didn't want to do anything to detriment the team or the Illinois community. But it can definitely be a huge tool, especially if you're a young guy, you working out, because coaches just looking for instant. Any video is always good.
Okay.
Like we watch videos of dudes dunking. We watch videos of dudes working out.
Mm-hmm.
It's you could tell somebody, I just benched 325.
Right.
But it's different when you got the video to show you benching 325. And I'm not saying you got to do it every time you work out.
Yeah. But it just helps. It just helps a little bit.
Yeah, it's a self-promotion tool.
Okay.
Like use it to your advantage.
Definitely. You ever ran into like an athlete, like a top athlete, and they social media was like not up to par, so to speak. Like they were like clowning on there, or bottles, typical young guy stuff.
Yeah.
How was that?
I think it was just a lack of understanding the platform that they were on.
Okay.
So, in saying that, is you don't know who's watching you because you're the person being watched. So sometimes you can't really feel it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can't feel that energy, or who's looking at you, who's evaluating you, who's critiquing you.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was just, I think I put it on me to say it's my job to let him know what's going on, how he's being seen with these actions. I mean, it's you put in, you got the bottles or whatever. That don't add up to you being a first round pick.
Exactly. I don't even read to nobody in the football world. Yeah.
Like not a chance. You smoking or whatever, like that don't add up.
Yeah.
Like that's not helping you reach your goal.
Yeah, because I asked that because now, even like in like the young high school guys that's, let's just say they not even being recruited, but they nice, like let's just say they're not in a good program, right? And so they don't think that they gonna, go somewhere. But let's say a coach like you, somebody like me, just somebody that, an influencer that can see somebody that has potential, like you can know, like, hey, bro, you good, man. You can be somebody. You can do something with your life, as far as with this football. But at the same time, they social media, it doesn't show it though, and it showed like they like in the streets, or like, cause like especially like where we from, we from the inner city, so we know guys that's like those type of guys. I don't even want to get so much in depth with that, but. So and then some of these guys are friends though. So we want to hang out with our friends because these are people that we hang out with. So, but at the same time, you see these young guys, posting like they friends and doing what they doing because this is this was natural for them, they natural habitat. And again, like
even to that, like you gotta kind of know who you are and what's riding on you.
Yeah, exactly.
So I thought at a young age, or when I first, when the social media, when I got heavy on it, I always had to be conscious of wearing those different hats. Like I don't want my mom to get on my page and see me hammered.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I don't want her to see any liquor or nothing like that. And even the people you with, like they gotta understand and respect where you trying to go.
Yeah, I feel like your friends gotta they gotta take care of you for real.
Yeah,
make sure
got to, or they not real.
Exactly.
You can't be like, bro, I can't have that. Because just like you think they'll look at your page, what happens when that college coach or that NFL coach click your homie page just to see who he is?
Right.
And now you on his page going crazy.
Right.
They're like, oh, like, whoa.
Man, that's a quick turnoff right there.
What's the real story? Like,
Uh-huh.
And it's like, I mean, you either, sometimes people just allow things that they're not even cool with.
Mm-hmm.
But what is your relationship with that person or that situation? Like, listen, I can tell you right now, if I go down to 105,
mm-hmm.
any of the homies that will get in the car, if they usually carry a strap or whatever, they won't get in my car with it.
Right, exactly.
Just because they already know, like, bro, ain't none of that.
Right, they can let me put this up before I hop in. Like, yeah exactly.
Hold on, I'll be right back. We run the house real quick.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He ain't gotta say what he doing. I already know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just that relationship and that communication to where he knows my goals and what I'm trying to do, and not that he doesn't have his own goals or whatnot, but he know that some of the activities that he may be involved in could be detrimental to me.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's just honesty, and that's truth, and that's real conversations that some people don't even have. A lot of people don't even know how to communicate right now.
Right.
Because of the social media.
Right. Yeah. Since you just talked about said something about communication, talk to me about, like young guys when they first get to college, right? Mm-hmm. They don't know how to communicate with their coaches, right? So, for an example, I'll use myself as an example. Me and my QB coach, we used to always feud with each other just because of me. Like, again, me being young, coming from where we come from, I didn't know how to communicate with him. Like when he had an issue with me, or I made it an issue. For an example, let's say that I was late for a study table, but for it was a real reason, not an excuse, because sometimes coaches think everything an excuse. But let's just say it was something that really happened, family issue, and I was late. I didn't even know how to communicate that. Like I just rather just kept my personal, my family situation to myself, and then that didn't help anything. So coach looking at me like, "What's up, though? You gonna talk or not? Like talk to me about like how that how that can affect somebody's playing time, or just affect how the coaches view you, or like lose trust in you just because people don't know how to communicate."
Well, I think trust is everything. You can only push a player as far as they trust you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think when you first get into college, you're on the path to try to do everything right. You don't know anything; it's all new to you.
Yeah.
I think as you do things right, you build equity within the coach.
Definitely.
So, and I think what I was just talking to somebody about this other day. When you come to realize that if you just tell the truth and keep it 100, it's a lot of stuff that's avoidable.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like, I mean, we sometimes, like last week, we had a situation like, okay, we had this player. He's struggling in the class, but he ain't saying nothing to either get more help or just so that we know. So when we go in the academic staff meeting or the full staff meeting,
you can go to bat for him a little bit.
We can fight for him. Like, listen, he told me, I know he going through this. I like, just the fact that he told me means he cares.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't tell me, then it's like, damn, like he just don't care. Like I don't know, coach, and that's never the right answer, because the head coach actually better have an answer.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like just how they say it all the time. Keep it 100, man. Like if you got an issue or problem, we ain't get into this to do nothing else but help mentor young people.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me help you stay out of trouble. I done been in trouble before. I'm a time traveler. I've seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me show you the best way, or let me even try to help you, or just put me on notice so that way I can cover for you, or I can make the situation lesser than what it could be.
Exactly, yeah. A lot of people fail. The college students, they fail to, the student athletes, they fail to do that. But again, I think it's that youth, because again, they so young that they don't see it that way. They see it as like, damn, I'm gonna be in trouble if I tell them that I'm failing this class. So so they feel uncomfortable with it. Like, I get it, but at the same time, let's say a person like you trying to tell them before it even gets to the head coach. It gets to so.
Because you put me in a bad position.
Yeah, exactly,
at that point.
exactly.
And I don't want to be in no bad position. So help me help you.
Exactly, help me help you, man. That's what it's about, man. I feel like we need to do, just period. Like, coaches in general just need to do that more. Like, help me help you. Like, build that trust, with those athletes.
That's what it all start with. The trust.
Because I was that guy. Because again, I met my coach. Coach Izzy. He was the you remember we used to go to those Eastern Michigan camps like every year in high school. So like he was a coordinator at Eastern Michigan, and then he ended up. It's so crazy because Ginn ended up bringing him to Toledo. I don't even know how Ginn even got him to be my quarterback coach, but again, he literally put him in a position to be my coach just because he thought that'd be a good fit for me. Because Ginn know my personality and shit. Though he know that like when I for an example, I used to be that guy. I have a problem. I'm keeping it to myself. I'm bottling it up. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't never open up. And Ginn knew that. So Ginn used to Ginn put Bo on me just for Bo to get to to get me to open up to him and shit. So I couldn't even believe that he even got Izzy there. But as I got older, going through my my phases in college, I started to open up to Coach Izzy. And then, like, I swear, bro, like, college got a lot easier. I started communicating with my, the academic coordinator, Miss Stacy. I feel like, I'm telling Miss Stacy, it'll be a time I'm like, Miss Stacy, I don't feel good. I'm hungry. I ain't going to this class. All right, thanks for communicating with me, T.O. So now they going to those meetings. You know what I mean? Because we used to have encouragers. I don't know if Coach Beck brought that to Toledo and shit. I mean, to Illinois. We had to encourage you. They was like the modern day snitches for football. You know what I mean? They snitching for real, bro. Like, we had rocket time. You got to be there 10 minutes early, first two rows.
A line of time. I remember all that. It's all the same. It's just all things to try to help you really be better outside of the game.
Right, exactly.
During the time it will be, but outside of the game as well.
Right. It's just preparing you for life at the end of the day.
But you won't see it. You just see it as
somebody snitching on you.
Hungry, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You gonna check my class every day, bro?
Yeah.
All right, I've been here for a week. Like, leave me alone this week.
Yeah. That just be a young minded. You don't see the bigger picture at the time. But but last thing I got for you though, like, since I am out here in Europe, like, what would you give? Like, what type of advice would you give to European athletes? Trying to come to the States to play college ball, because like nowadays, there was a QB from Germany. He ended up getting a scholarship to Notre Dame. So now it's actually happening out here, like where like these European players are starting to get scholarships, to come play, in college ball. Like, what type of advice would you give like these athletes, these young athletes wanting to, fulfill their dream, of playing?
I would say don't look at it as something that's too far-fetched. I know, it's the more popular sport here than there. But, with just like we talked about, earlier, the social media thing, people see everything, no matter where it comes from.
Okay.
So, use that platform, because we got a defensive tackle from Germany, I think.
Okay.
So our coaches flew to Germany for like 4 days, went to a camp, and they came back.
Yeah.
So like, it's not, and college coaches are starting to branch out into those hidden gem areas.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's a whole nother millions of people over there that we don't even like. You can't even see on the immediate, but through the social media and using those platforms, you can have access to them and you can reach them. And then, just having a great competitive mindset.
Okay.
I think that's something that's what's the word I'm trying to look for? It's unappreciated. I think is the word.
Yeah, you can.
But what I'm trying to say, when I say that is the ability. Someone knows you're a competitor.
Yeah.
You go give everything you got. You go hard. That's something that can't be replaced with anything.
Definitely.
Because even if you wrong, you'll do it a million miles an hour. You may mess up the whole play. You was wrong. You went through the wrong gap. But since you did it with great effort, you made the play.
Exactly, yeah.
So just, keeping that competitive mindset and just always trying to win. Mm-hmm. Like, I know, so a quick story, Damon Arnett, he was at Ohio State when I was there. Mm-hmm. He just got drafted 19 overall to the Raiders.
Okay.
He one of the most competitive people ever that I ever met. And when he got drafted, I go to the Raiders website and I'm listening to Gruden talk about his first 2 picks.
Yeah.
He said, I can't put a price on Damon's competitiveness. And I don't know if that was word for word, but basically what he said was his ability to compete and be physical and be dominant and just give his all weighed way more than some of the other corners in the draft.
Yeah.
And, it helped him go 19 overall. It's thousands of players trying to make it to the league. Exactly. He went 19 overall.
Yeah,
And, I think just you got to be okay with being bored.
Okay.
When I say that, just making sure your actions align with your dreams. Sometimes you ain't going to be able to go to the party.
Yeah.
Sometimes you ain't going to be able to go do X, Y, and Z. But when you're bored, just go do something that'll help strengthen your game or your goal. Mm-hmm. Go get another workout in. Go watch a YouTube highlight. Because it ain't even that the technique that he's doing, but you're seeing it and you're putting it in your head. So you never know, your body may just trigger to do it without you even noticing.
Right.
So just watching those clips, doing things that'll help sharpen your game when you are bored, do push-ups, sit-ups, whatever. You just got better. Mm-hmm. And over time, that all adds up. Yes. And it's not even anything that's different from overseas to states. Mm-hmm. It's just about you using the platform that you got just to be seen.
Exactly.
And I've been waiting to say this. A key secret to getting your film watched and things like that, send it to the GAs at the school.
Send it to the GAs, okay.
Because you got the coaches, they get a million emails. They get emails from the academic people, the school itself, the head coach send the emails, also other recruits send the emails. But you got the GAs. A lot of people don't send them the email to the GAs. My job is to help the corners coach and safeties coach find new guys.
Yeah.
But if I don't ever see them and they value my word, then it gets lost, or exactly. it gets lost in their mix of emails. Sometimes some coaches don't even read their email. Yeah. If it ain't from the university head coach or like academics or something, they don't even read it.
They're not even gonna waste their time because they got so much going on.
Yeah, but you got the young coaches who's trying to make their name in this game. Mm-hmm. So, hey man, I got this kid from Germany. He 6'2", run a 4.3, jump out the gym. He go to footage right here to match. This is social media page right here.
Yeah.
Check him out. Oh, let's do some digging. Trust me, we get private jets, flights everywhere. We can get there if we want to.
Yeah, I already know, man. NCAA got that bread, so that's not even a question.
Yeah, that's no problem.
But how do these like European athletes even get in contact with the GAs? Because again, I don't know if they probably not even. I'm glad you said that because I'm sure that guys out here probably never even thought of that. So I'm happy you said that just for the listeners out here like listening right now. That's great. Great advice. But how do they even get in contact with the GAs?
Well, at the main way would probably be just going to the school's website.
Okay.
Because they had a coaches listed and the GAs are usually at the bottom.
Okay.
Some may have a picture, some may not, but usually the graduate assistant's email is there. That's probably the most immediate way. And I think just, hey, when you on Twitter and you can find I think Twitter is probably the most accessible because everybody pretty much got one. A lot of people don't really got an Instagram, or especially like when you get into older coaches, they don't really have an Instagram. They're more of a Twitter, the Twitter world. I think things travel faster on Twitter anyway.
Okay.
But that going on those schools' website, like if you go to our website and you go to coaches, you will see my email on there.
Yeah.
And it's that using that social media platform, or say you just find a name, just search for them on the social media, on the Twitter, on Snapchat. Usually most coaches use their real name. Like, you know, it ain't Lil Day 572. Like, you know, it's gonna be their real name.
Right, for sure. That's what's up, though. So I got one more question for you, though. Like, what does the American football culture mean to you?
It mean a lot, man. It provided me with opportunity. It provided me with discipline, structure. It gave me opportunity to travel, see things I probably would have never went to Seattle, Washington, to like ever.
Right.
But we had a game there, so I was able to experience that. I know what the weather feel like, the rain, like, you know what I'm saying. There's so many different things that you get from the game that you can't get with other things. Like, I mean, the relationships that you built.
Yeah.
The time that you spend trying to craft something that's elite, or in a fashion where you can put it on display each and every weekend.
Yeah.
The teamwork, the camaraderie, the locker room. The game is. I love the game. I love the hustle. You know how it goes.
But
it's a special thing. Like, and then just now in the position I'm in, the ability to influence and try to create more memories and opportunities.
Okay.
It done took me places and got me in places that money couldn't get me in, or get anybody in.
All right, there you have it. We appreciate D'Angelo Bentley joining us and sharing some valuable information with us. Catch us every Tuesday for real and raw conversations on all of our platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also follow us on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you all next week.